Okay, Weston Mabu there, the president of Ghana there. Okay, we've been looking at the Iboris route controversy over that between the federal government, precisely the AGF office and the government of Delta State. I have with me two guests. On my far right, I have Araka Okoliabo, certified management consultant and the executive secretary of the Anti-Corruption Network, non-governmental organization, civil society of coalition here, Honorable Ebenezer Oyetaki. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Araka here. Let's look at the issue of your management consultant here. The expenditure of the funds, although Delta State government is still, we'll come back to that. The expenditure of the funds here, picking the second Niger bridge, which some persons said no, government shouldn't. I mean, within Delta State government now, that money must come to Asaba, and federal government is saying, look, we want to pour that fund into the second Niger bridge project.
Well, I think if you ask me in my own assessment and evaluation as a participatory observer and a researcher,
then you are participatory, you are observing. No, that is somewhat like
don't misquote me. I'm talking from the academic perspective. When I say participatory observer,
that's an irony.
Methodology
it's an irony.
Of data generation. No,
if you are an observer, you are not participating. If you are participating, go ahead.
No. If you understand, understand research methodology,
go ahead.
You know what I mean by a participatory
observer.
So any innovative researcher will understand what I mean by participatory observation.
Go ahead.
So now, if you ask me to assess this government, I would say it has done so well when it comes to the second Niger bridge.
Then must they put Iboris money inside?
Calling it Iboris money, it's another issue. I want, when you refer it to the state, the Delta State government money or the Delta people's money, because these are funds, these are resources that are meant for the people. The people are the direct victims of such use. You also need to begin to consider the people. We need to be a bit patriotic. We need to be a bit communal in our doing things. You know, capitalism has so ridden off our common sense. Don't forget, you know, scientific management, if you study the work of Taylor, he's talking about character. He's talking about common sense, which I refer to as empirical dialectics. He talks about education, that this makes a good man. So these are funds that should be channeled towards infrastructural development or educational development. We should start thinking towards the right direction as a people. So pushing these funds into second Niger bridge, it's a logical, reasoning. It must have been born out of research. Verifiable.
Why not a project inside Delta State?
Which is not a problem as well. As long as it is geared towards human capital development. As long as it is, injected back into the society and benefit the direct people, the masses. What is the source of insecurity? What is the source of corruption? You need to understand frustration aggression theory. The people are frustrated. We need to begin to look at the root cause of issues. When they are frustrated, a hungry man is an angry man. Frustration leads to aggression. So we need to begin to x-ray the sources of frustration as a result of this flow of resources out of the state. It is the result of deprivation, poverty. Look at our universities. Look at the schools in Delta State. An average graduate today, my brother, is not employable. I sit in the board of human resource management. I employ labor. I interview. I'm a human resource person. A normal proposal from an average Nigerian graduate. It's something difficult. We went through hell to get to where we are today. It's no luxury.
So you're saying that the money can go into the second Niger bridge?
Yes. Emphatically, yes. I agree. That's my opinion.
But the government in Asaba said, look, they have where they want to inject this money that will touch the people.
Which is also fine. The Asaba people and the Anambra people. This road is not just about Anambra. It's not about Onitsha. My brother, have you been on that traffic between Asaba and Onitsha Bridge
once.
To cross Hedge Bridge?
Only once, and I pray I will not get back before Christmas.
Then, as a researcher, I have been trapped there 2-3 days. I observe environment. I observe people. I study human behavior. There is need for a second Niger Bridge. It's a relief. Look at the economic impact.
But that people are saying government can source fund elsewhere as they are doing than taking this money that is their money and put their money in.
Which is still the same thing. Carry rope, tie goat, carry goat, tie rope. Now still the same thing. As long as the money, the funds are being injected back into the society, as long as it will improve employment, as long as it will reduce poverty, as long as even health sector. We're talking about security generally. It's a holistic study.
Honorable Benisa here, looking at it from the wider perspective here, the other issue raised is maybe Delta State government may try to look at the legal option. Do you see that coming?
Well, there is nothing that precludes them from looking at legal option, but whether they have amputated their leg that will enable them to stand in front of legal action is another thing.
Amputated what sense?
Amputated their feet that way they will need to stand on the fact that a subsisting judgment that says that all money recovered from Ibori must be forfeited to the federal government, to the federation account. And you and me may not necessarily understand the conditions precedent to the release of this money to the federal government of Nigeria.
Thank you.
Because they are frontal. And nothing in Nigeria Constitution deprived or preclude the Delta State government from joining the case over 5 years ago against Ibori in London. They would have, that is why I said this, their approach to the money is going to be repatriated to the federal government. Please, it is our money, bring it. It's rascally scavenging, and it is not painting a good status of a responsible government. And I think they should just use this to learn. They should use this as a mirror to educate themselves how to operate a responsible government. Let us draw it down this way. Ibori was released in 2016. Both the Delta State government and who in Delta State pour on the street to welcome a criminal. And they celebrated an ex-convict. An international ex-convict.
They said their son.
They so much celebrated him.
Their son who did well for them.
There is a way to behave. There is a way to behave. Now, after that celebration and things of that nature, as a responsible government, now that they have convicted him in United Kingdom and he has served, what has the government of Delta State done on their own to reopen the case against him in Delta State?
But the case was concluded.
No, you are talking about in London.
The other case in Delta State where the judge said no money was missing.
Now there are different evidences that shows that money was actually missing. Delta State government just decided to bury their head on the sand because till tomorrow Ibori is still influencing who becomes governor and who is displaced from government. So if you evacuate this money from federal government cover to Delta State cover, nothing can guarantee that they will not report the money to Ibori and he will still decide on what percentage go to here and that kind of a thing. That is why I am, as anti-corruption personality, I vehemently oppose paying that money to Delta State government. But the federal government has behaved responsibly by listing the Niger Delta, the second Niger bridge as number one in the beneficiary of the disbursement of the fund. And I think the Delta State people should content themselves with that this money is being used by the federal government to finance infrastructure. And like I said, we do not have the details of the conditions that are precedent to the release of this money by United Kingdom.
Mr. Raka, do you think the government of Ifeanyi Okowa will be able to go to court and challenge and go the whole hog on how to get back the money from the federal government?
Well, you see, that comes to willpower. This is the question of situational leadership, if you understand leadership. It is about it's a question of Okuwa's integrity. It's a question of Okuwa's honesty. It's a question of Okuwa's transparency. It's a question of Okuwa's, adherence to consensus participation. It's also an indication of his adherence to rule of law. So these are all indices of good governance. And since he is an apostle of good governance, I think it is natural for him to look. It's self-evaluation. It has to do with you as a leader. Hey, come on. He says, man, know thyself. But remember, I always propose to young leaders, I say, integrity, common sense, which I call empirical dialectics. It came from my professor, late Professor Tedeke. He was the one that exposed us. Thank God he's from Delta State. He's the one that exposed us to this. It's a change of nomenclature, IFF, illicit flow of resources. See, we also need to do a historical dialectics. We need to look at the historical facts. Because business intelligence has to do with historical facts juxtaposed with present hour reality. Okay. Then you can now focus. If we make noise here,
can you forecast that they will go to court?
Well, going to court.
Can you forecast that Okowa can head to court, keep the issue in the front burner, or is he going to take a soft part or let the money go?
You are now giving me a perception.
I'm only asking you a question.
In my opinion,
good.
I said it revolves around the cardinal quality of a leader.
But you have observed Okowa for long. You have followed Okowa.
Yes.
Can you say Okowa will go to court?
I know Okowa is a man of integrity.
Good.